Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Divine Masculine reading on Mondays. I hope you guys had a really good week last week. We apologize. Some personal things came up and prevented me from being able to create videos for you as much as I would have liked to last week. But everything is okay. Got the family stuff resolved and I'm back. So thanks for your patience, and I hope you guys all had a great week. This deck is pretty cool, but it is very difficult for me to shuffle. I have a couple of these that are not easy for me to shuffle. The cards are just so stiff and they're kind of thick, and I just don't have the strength. So I had to do them separately. So bear with me while I try to shuffle these for you. But I have a feeling today is going to be a good reading for our divine masculine. Well, at least from the divine feminine's perspective, right? The divine masculine may not like some of the things that are going on in their life, but I think this is going to be a good reading from the divine feminine's perspective into the divine masculine's situation and life, 3D life experience. So I'm going to do these in separates, and then I'll come back and do them together. I'll mix them up. But see this little rock here? I have a video that I'm going to upload this week with a story about how I acquired that rock. And it is a pretty special synchronicity for me on how I came to be blessed enough to have that rock on my table. And I want to share it with you guys because I know all of you experience synchronicities as well. And sometimes the synchronicities on this journey, when we're paying attention, are so miraculous and so beautiful the way that they unfold. And this is one of those moments for me. It really shows us that we're not alone. The universe is always with us, inside of us, all around us. We are the universe, essentially, right? And this rock, it's a malachite and amethyst mixed together. And of course, on the back, it had my number, 144. But the story behind it and how I found it, what the store clerk's daughter told me about the rock, the meaning behind it, and the timing of how it came into my life. It's very special, very special. So I wanted to share that. I'm going to upload a video. Cam highly encouraged me after I talked with him about it to share this with you guys because it's such a cool synchronistic experience of how the universe can come together for you, and always has been, even if you weren't really aware or paying attention to that. So, but anyway, let's get back to the divine masculine here. If you guys are here today watching this particular reading, I have several that I do throughout the week, but if you're here watching this one, it's because you are a twin flame and you have met your divine masculine. And the reason why I say have met your divine masculine, not, maybe you met your divine feminine, maybe you met your divine masculine, is because typically, now I can't say that there's never an exception to this rule because there is no such thing as absolutes, right? There just isn't. It doesn't exist, at least as far as we can tell. And as far as our knowledge has exposed us to at this point. But most likely you are the divine feminine if you're here, because you're here watching this tarot reading, trying to find out what's going on with your divine masculine. Now, this isn't really about gender, so you could be male or female and be a divine feminine. Divine feminine is just something that we've been calling this for a long time throughout human history. Divine feminine, divine masculine is really referring to two polarized energies. Okay, so we live in duality, and a representation of duality is obviously the divine feminine and the divine masculine, or male and female. In physical form, we see it as male and female, but this is not about physical form. This is about energy, and the energy between you and another human being. And the energy between you and this other human being is a polarized energy of divine feminine and divine masculine. Now, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, of course, carry both energies, just as every other human being on this planet does. You've got, the two energy centers within you that travel up your spine and give you the life force energy that is what you are, and it transfers into your physical form and gives it life. But and there needs to be a balance of those energies. However, with you and your divine masculine, you are twin flames. And so this takes on a whole new, pattern or understanding. Your divine masculine is the negative polarity twin flame. And you are the divine feminine, which makes you the positive polarity twin flame. Now, if we were talking about masculine and feminine energy in each physical form, it's actually reversed. The divine masculine is the positive, the divine feminine is the negative, but we're not talking about it in the physical form. Again, this goes past gender and past that, into the way that the energy polarizes between the two twin flames that are connected beyond physical form, connected to the soul. Now, there's a lot of information about twin flames on the internet, and if you have met your divine masculine and you are going through a spiritual awakening, I'm sure you have been searching and researching this information like crazy, and it is going to seem very overwhelming for a very long time. It's not something that's going to make sense to you overnight. And you're going to have a deep longing and a deep need and desire to learn and figure out what's going on. The divine masculine and the experience that we have with them is a massive catalyst for motivation in your spiritual awakening. And so there's this awakened desire within you to figure out what's going on, mainly because of your connection with your divine masculine. And so that's wonderful. It's a driving force, right? But the truth of the matter is, the reason that you have met your divine masculine is specifically for that reason: to go through a spiritual awakening and to wake up to your true identity. I don't even know if the identity is the right word. I guess it could be used, but what I mean by that is to awaken you to your true nature. That's a better word, which is that you are a soul here having a human experience and living in a reality that goes beyond what the mind can comprehend. And there is so much that is unseen. We focus so much on what we know and can see and can touch and taste and feel and experience. And we think that that is our only reality. But you are wakening up to the sixth sense that goes beyond the five senses. It's the etheric, spiritual, intuitive, unseen driving force behind everything that is seen. And your senses, your mind, your thoughts, your eyes, your emotions are going to go berserk because of this. And it's because it's kind of like when a computer overheats, right? Like you've seen in the movies, like a computer that's just being used too much and it's being used beyond its capacity. It starts to overheat and like steam starts to come out of it. You are experiencing or have experienced a dark night of the soul as a result of this awakening process. And what that is it's an information overload for your system, your human system. And it is by design because it's waking you up from exactly that. It's waking you up to realize that you are much more than the physical manifestation of yourself. And in order to wake you up from that, there has to be sort of like this breaking down of what you've known and understood. And that's why Dark Night of the Soul is ego death. Dark Night of the Soul has been talked about and has been around for a long time, but really what it is it's ego death. And so some people will call it Dark Night of the Soul and some people will call it ego death. Neither one is wrong or right. They are one and the same. But it is a painful process that you go through that always precedes or is part of the first stages of your spiritual awakening. And it is beautiful. It is painful, but it is beautiful. It's beautiful the same way that a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis and having gone through the painful process of transformation, it's beautiful in the same way that that butterfly is beautiful. You are going through a miraculous gift and transformation. And so we are here to help you with that process and to offer you a community of people that are also going through this in many various different stages. Myself, Cam, and Brent are all here to assist and mentor you in any way that we can individually, because your experience is going to be very unique. But all of the people in our community, all of the conduits in our community, you being one of them, are here to offer help and support and assistance to each other as we all go through this process in our varying stages. So, bottom of the deck, we have Ace of Wands in the reverse. Ace of Wands in the reverse. So let's find out what's going on with Mr. Masculine or Mrs. Masculine and get you some insight. And when I say insight, ooh, I just hit my camera. Sorry for that little bump. When I say insight, I want you guys to know, and I think it's important, tarot is only a representation of your own perceptions. Your perceptions create reality. So if what you see here resonates, it's because it's part of your own internal perception. And this is something I want you guys to get really, really familiar with, is understanding your perception and how your perception is creative energy. So if you don't understand this, then you are open to the power of suggestion. And so if someone tells you something positive, you're going to manifest something positive if you believe it. If someone tells you something negative, you can manifest something negative if you believe in it. These cards are just like anything else, like TV, politicians, teachers, family. Life itself is constantly teaching you and suggesting to you what is reality. And when you take that on as your own, then it becomes a part of your reality. And I want you to understand that you get to decide what you do and don't believe in. You get to decide what you want to perceive in this world. Okay? And I want you to wake up completely to the truth of what you are and recognize that if you believe this, it will happen. If you don't believe it, it won't happen. And whatever is said in any reading that you ever hear, or any TV program or educational program, or any church that you go to, and I know a lot of people will not understand this and won't necessarily agree with it, but it is the truth. You are a conduit that takes information in creates perception and belief out of it, and then creates that into your reality. You were created by the Creator to be a creator. How does that happen? If you're in the image of the Creator, you are a creator. You're here to learn to create the reality and the life that you want. Everything that happens in our lives is a reflection of who we are as souls. We came here, put the veil on, the veil of the five senses, the veil of forgetfulness, in order to see who we truly are. And when life presents us with all of these options, what do we give our attention to? What do we perceive and what manifests as a result? Life is a beautiful, amazing gift and miracle. And I want you guys to understand that. That's what the tarot represents, is that you are the creator of your own life. What you believe and perceive will become your reality. And that's a deep rabbit hole to go down, but I want you guys to go down it because that's the entire purpose of meeting your twin flame. All right, so let's check this out. Divine Masculine, with this at the bottom of the deck, is experiencing feelings of rejection. They don't feel understood. The world seems cruel and harmful. They feel a little beat down, honestly. And they kind of feel like they keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, and then they backslide over and over again. So that's the overall feeling of this reading today. What Divine Masculine has always wanted in the past is family and relationship. Whatever their childhood was, the experience, whether it was an overall positive experience as a child, or if they came from abuse and, neglect and trauma. And we all do to some degree, no matter how wonderful the family is that we come from. There is no such thing as a perfect family because there's no such thing as a perfect person. We live in duality, which means we experience all parts of the spectrum. And when we understand that, there's a beauty in all of it, all the way from one side of the scale to the other. But whatever the lifestyle was that Divine Masculine experienced growing up, it put them in a place of really wanting family, of wanting a solid, reliable relationship. Maybe because they came from that and witnessed that, and so they want that on their own, or they didn't have that. And as you can see, whether they had it or didn't have it, oftentimes that's what drives us anyway. We all want that innately within ourselves, is to feel connected to something and to be a part of something. It's in our nature. It's written in our DNA, right? In our programming, to want something, to be a part of something. That might look different for many different people. What marriage or relationships look like can be many different things. Some people don't want to get married. Some people do want to get married, but they're still committed to each other regardless. Some people want children. Some people don't want children. Some people want to adopt. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that families can come together. Sometimes people just want to be part of a community of people and do service for others, and they don't want to get married, but they still want to do that. Somehow, most of us, unless, we really have some sort of imbalance, want connection to others in some shape or form. And that's exactly what Divine Masculine has been motivated and driven by in the past. In Divine Masculine's karmic life, they've had some goals. They have felt like they've had something, like every single time they step out and start to work towards achieving these goals and these desires, something happens to either distract them, knock them off their path, push them backwards. So that's kind of why I think that the overall for the reading has been that Divine Masculine feels like they just have not been able to meet the goals and follow through with what they want. Now, this is probably coming from some kind of perception and belief of lack that divine masculine hasn't really been able to isolate and correct. There's some kind of, thought pattern, some type of inner belief that has caused divine masculine to not see their true value and their abilities. And so maybe they have a belief that they're going to fail. And so they do. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy for divine masculine. And they have that. They keep going back to it. They haven't given up, which is exactly what they need to do. They don't want to give up, but they need to get past whatever that hump is so they can stop repeating the same process. The life is going to continue to keep giving us the same lessons over and over again, even if they look different in different situations, until we learn it. It's like whack-a-mole. That's how I kind of envision it sometimes, The universe is going to keep hitting us over the head until we figure it out. And once we figure it out, the lessons learned, it no longer presents itself anymore. Life, the universe, God gives us what we need, not necessarily what we want, but what we need is always going to take us to what we want, right? We live in a universe of abundance, not lack. But when we have lack patterns, we get what we need in order to fix the lack patterns so that we can allow ourselves the glory and the abundance of God's gift to us. So, toward you, divine feminine, divine masculine was just absolutely in awe with you. Your encounter with each other created a perception within divine masculine where it was like, wow, what is this? New hope, like a fresh outlook. It was like all of a sudden all of the fears and the guilt and the shame and the things that had been holding divine masculine back were suddenly given a new perspective. They were suddenly given a new perspective through their chance encounter with you. However, there's this energy with the Hierophant, of old patterns, old traditions, old perceptions, old beliefs that need to be overcome. So it's all surfacing for divine masculine when they're around you. All this old stuff, it's showing them the lack. It's showing them the messed up perspectives and the wrong thinking that has been keeping them from what they want. And it's giving them like fresh hope and new perspective, but it's also, it's exhausting for divine masculine. And so that may be why at times divine masculine needs to just take a step back and retreat. And divine feminine always thinks that divine masculine is running from them when things like this happen. But in actuality, that's not at all what divine masculine is doing. That's another perception of lack from divine feminine. And so how lack manifests between the two twins, it's going to look different. Divine masculine is worldly based. Divine feminine is intuitively, internally based. And so you're going to look at it as like, oh, they're running from me. And they're going to look at it as like, no, I got to get all this stuff taken care of because I'm not ready yet. And it has nothing to do with you from their perspective. But for you take it as like, oh, they don't love me. They don't care about me. That's not true at all, divine feminine. And that's the part for you that you need to correct is the way that self-love is showing up for you and the ability to believe in yourself and to see through that veil, right? To see through what the mind is telling you, those patterns. When you do that, divine masculine does that, and vice versa. There's a mirroring that takes place. But you can't look at divine masculine and try to figure out what's going on with them in order to figure out what's going on with you, because then you're missing the mark. You have to stop looking at what they're doing. Let them figure that out on their own and just trust the process, trust the journey, and go within and look within yourself and find the answers inside of you. Currently, divine masculine has found their voice. And what that means is that they are really sticking up for themselves. They're speaking their mind. They're saying how they really feel. They're not really candy coating things and hiding things anymore, because they're starting to kind of have that leveling up. They're really seeing things and going, I really need to be my own best friend, and I really need to show up for myself, which means that when I don't like something, or something doesn't feel right or doesn't feel good, I'm going to say how I feel. And if I stick my foot in my mouth, so be it. I'll learn a lesson, and that's exactly what I needed. So there's some self-acceptance that's going on, and also some, feeling proud, not pride like in a negative way, but feeling proud of who they are and believing in themselves. I mean, look at this knight right here, right? That is someone who is a conduit, right? They're holding up that sword up to the heavens, and the heavens are responding, and light is being, given and emanating through that, which is what you are, right? Like divine masculine and you are conduits between the heavens and the earth. You are the energetic beings that are bringing and manifesting reality into this beautiful God-given Garden of Eden of creation around us. And so divine masculine is stepping into that power, and they're like ready to just charge into it. And they've found their voice. They're ready to say, no, this is what I want. This is who I am. They're letting go of the things that have held them back. Toward the karmic situation in their life right now, divine masculine has a lot of empathy. And because they've been stepping into this kind of leadership position of their own destiny, right? They're taking responsibility for that. They're looking at the things around them, the people around them, with a whole new perspective. And so empathy is there because they realize that a lot of the people that are around them are still feeling quite lost on their paths. And so divine masculine's not judging that, right? But they're also stepping into their own power and recognizing how those other energies are affecting them. And that is key for divine masculine. It's key. Because while we can have empathy for those of us, for those that are around us that are still making poor choices, we also recognize and have to take responsibility for how much of that we allow in, because life is full of traps, right? Distractions, traps, dead ends in the labyrinth. And we don't want to get pulled into those. And oftentimes misery loves company. So unknowingly, people that we care about can pull us into negative mindsets and perceptions and situations that are just not good for us. And we can't go blindly into those things. We have to stick up for ourselves and say, no, if you want to go down that path, you're going to have to go down it on your own. And oftentimes doing that, we actually pull people away from going down the wrong path. But if we're not strong in who we are, and putting ourselves first and valuing ourselves, then we may get pulled down into their trap. What I say is, be so strong and firm in yourself that nobody pulls you into their orbit. You pull them into yours. And if anyone is going to pull you into their orbit, make sure that you're choosing with wisdom that this is someone that you, and using your discernment, that this is someone who can help elevate you, not pull you down. Because there are people in our lives that are placed in our lives to elevate us. Maybe they're vibrating at a higher frequency. They're further down the path of ascension, and they can help us. They're going to level us up, right? As you will do for many others as well. So look at people. Is me being pulled into their orbit going to serve me well and them well? Or is this somebody who I should pull into my orbit, and if I can't, I need to let them go down their own path? And divine masculine's really honing in on that intuitive ability to be able to read people and make really good decisions about what they're going to do with their time and energy. Toward you right now, divine feminine, that energy that we were just talking about is kind of coming out in a weird way toward you, because they are like like with this emperor energy, they are ascending quickly into their energy, right? And being that divine being, that soul that they are, they're really aligning with that quickly. It's quite amazing, actually, how quickly they're going through this process. It sometimes may not seem like that from the divine feminine's perspective, but oftentimes that's through false judgments and false perceptions because of divine feminine's own inner insecurities, right? Which is what you have to focus on, divine feminine. But divine masculine is actually, as are you, ascending very, very quickly. One doesn't ascend faster than the other. It just doesn't look the same. That's all. So as quickly as you're ascending, so is divine masculine. I promise you that. But this energy is kind of dualistic. Like they are looking at you and they're like, okay, um, I love this. This is amazing and wonderful. And I feel like energetically at home with this person. And I know that my life has changed dramatically as a result of meeting them. But at the same time, there's still this kind of like lack of commitment or inability to really place their attention toward you, divine feminine. They are still so focused inwardly on becoming the best version of themselves and getting rid of all this stuff, which is exactly what they should be doing. I know that is not what the divine feminine wants, but it's, again, the universe gives us what we need, not what we want. And so if there's things that divine masculine still needs to be working on, I can guarantee you, divine feminine, do not think that there's things that you don't have to work on, or that, you're ascending and that divine masculine's not ascending, or that, you're doing it so much faster. And if he could just, or he or she could just get their act together, that's traps. Those are twin flame traps. Do not fall into those twin flame traps. Do not be judgmental of the divine masculine. Okay. You wouldn't want the divine masculine to be judgmental of you. It's a reflection. Remember this. Okay. So you focus on yourself. If you are still in separation with your divine masculine, then it is because that is exactly what the both of you actually need. Okay, but remember, what you need is taking you to what you want. All right, so trust it. Trust the journey. This energy that divine masculine is coming into is really, really cool, because what it is divine masculine is feeling this balance, like they're harmonizing with their inner self. And when they harmonize with their inner self, naturally, they harmonize with everything external, because everything external comes from the internal world. Remember, the sixth sense, the internal being, the internal spirit, this internal soul, the connection to God, source, is what creates all manifested reality. All right? God creates all reality. And when we are connected internally to that, of course, we harmonize with everything externally. When there seems to be discord, it's because we have discord within ourselves. My mom told me once that a messy house is a sign of somebody who has internal issues going on, right? And sometimes an overly clean house can be signs of that as well. But the reason why is because if there's a messy home around you, it's oftentimes because you're messy internally and it needs to be fixed. But sometimes people are really messy internally, and so they're doing everything in their power to fix the external world in order to make themselves feel better internally. There has to be a balance. When you're balanced, you feel internally whole and complete and at peace. And your exterior world also reflects that. It can be a little bit of both, not overly perfect, but also not a complete disaster, right? We live in our homes. There's going to be times where they look used and then times where they look clean. It's a constant balance. And so divine masculine is reaching that place of feeling harmonized within themselves and therefore in their external world. You are as well divine feminine, which is why, again, you guys are not ascending at different rates. It may look different. It may not be the same. You know, there could seem like there's delays in divine masculines, ascension, but that's only through the perception of the divine feminine, okay? And it's because you're looking at it through your own filter. Karmic situation, divine masculine's external world is starting to truly reflect their internal world, the way that divine masculine wants. And it's because divine masculine has so intensely dedicated themselves to getting a new perspective, to changing the internal perspective so that they're getting different results externally. Look how cool this card is right here. That is so cool. I'm going to use this one on my thumbnail because I always say that the twin flame journey is like the caterpillar, the metamorphosis of a caterpillar, right? They don't realize they're even going to become a butterfly. They start out in the world as a caterpillar, and being a caterpillar is a beautiful thing, but it's not the full potential yet. And then at some point in time, they go into the chrysalis, and which is like ego death, right? And what they were completely breaks down and reshapes itself. And then they eventually emerge as a butterfly, able to do things that they could never have even possibly dreamed of before. And the struggle is what the struggle of coming out of the chrysalis is exactly what gives the butterfly the strength that it needs in order to be able to fly. So it's the same thing with a spiritual awakening. It's the struggle of getting out of the dark night of the soul and overcoming all of the false beliefs and illusions of lack and fear that create the strength that we need to soar and fly in the truth of who we really are. It's a beautiful process of transformation. Everything that created the caterpillar to be what it was is exactly all the molecules, the DNA, the matter, the cells, everything, all the gook that created the caterpillar to be what it was is exactly the same stuff that is used to make the butterfly, but they don't look anything alike. And so when you go through this process, just like divine masculine is going through this process, what comes out on the other side is magnificent. But it's a process. You can't speed up any of it. If you try to help the butterfly come out of the chrysalis before it's ready, then you take away its ability to be strong enough to be able to fly, and the butterfly will die. So that's why when divine masculine and you have these periods of time apart, it's part of the process. It's giving you the strength to be able to become the very best versions of yourself and bring into this world what the two of you came here to do. Trust your journey, divine feminine. Trust the divine experience that you're having right now. All of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the beautiful, it's all magnificent and part of the process. Nothing is wasted. Everything is meant to happen as it happens. Just believe in that. Tune yourself into God. Tune yourself into God and let that be your beacon, okay? Let that be your lightning rod right here. Divine masculine is doing the same. All right, look at this. Toward you, divine feminine. Divine masculine realizes with the sun card right here, right, that the delayed gratification of the two of you being together is exactly what has gotten you guys to the place of what the moon card in reverse represents, which is clarity, full revelation, the truth of who you really are, stepping into your true power, your true essence, and seeing each other through completely naked and vulnerable perspectives, because you've gone through this and you can see around your own ego. You can see around the egos of others into the truth of who they are. You understand the divine connection to God, and you are able to love each other as a result completely unconditionally, without fear, without stress, without anxiety, without judgment, without doubt. It's that process of transformation that you guys have gone through that have gotten you to this place of divine union. It's phenomenal. Divine Feminine. Oh my gosh. It's one of my favorite readings. Okay, this goes in line with the other readings. I've done 2 other readings that I freaking loved. And both times my sound didn't work and I wasn't able to give them to you. I love this reading maybe more than those ones. So let's pray that I don't have an issue with my sound today. I don't think I do, which makes me really, really happy. But Divine Feminine, what a beautiful reading for Divine Masculine today. What an amazing experience the 2 of you are having. You know, every good movie has tragedy and love and drama and success, and you know that it's all of that stuff that brings the movie into this perspective of, like, you know, really just like the wow moment at the end, you know, when the people come together or when the mission is accomplished, right? It's all of it that makes it so incredible and amazing. You guys are on the ultimate adventure of life. That's what the tarot cards represent. Okay? Your perspective creates your reality. So take this and only create with it what you want. It's your palette of colors and your canvas that you get to create. Okay? And I am just here like any other thing outside of you as an option. You know, your thoughts are like any other thing as an option. And so, you know, choose wisely what you choose to give your energy and your belief to. All right? Learn about that. Listen to Neville Goddard. Okay? Learn some of those things. I think that I'm having competing fingers here. I think it's this one, though. That feels like the one right there. All right, so these are angel cards. 6 of Raphael. Embrace your inner child. New friends or rekindled relationships. Children or childhood. Let me grab my book really quick. All right. If you guys could like and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it, as would Cam and Brent. We are a new channel and we are trying to grow, and your likes and subscribes are everything to us right now. So if you could do that, and also if you guys are ever interested in a one-on-one, please go to the About section and check us out. There's some links there. You know, we can definitely help you if you have questions about what's going on in your journey. We can help you, you know, really look at all of those things and decide, you know, what's best for you. It just sometimes helps to be able to talk to other people. Oftentimes it's in the talking to other people that we find our own answers. And again, answers are always found internally. So if you do want, you know, some help with that, or even just someone to talk to and share, because this can be a lonely journey, we are here to help, okay? 6 of Raphael. Oh, what a lovely memory. Experiences from your distant past or childhood come flooding back in order to help you with the present. If that isn't this whole reading, I don't know what is. I mean, Divine Masculine's experience as a child and where that has led them to. Old friends or romantic partners may resurface. New people you meet become instant close friends due to past life connections. Previous relationships or friendships may be rekindled. Deep-rooted issues that hold you back push to be resolved. Be careful not to romanticize the past, but rather to see it clearly and objectively. Additional meanings of this card. It could be issues involving children, nostalgia, embracing your inner child, and innocence. I think what this is showing from my perspective and the way that this relates to this beautiful reading today is that you start out as the fool on your journey, gives you certain perspectives, and then life teaches you all these things that you need to learn, right, in order to gain the proper perspective. And like this card right here kind of reminds me of, Adam and Eve. And then right here with the caduceus right here, this is the two energies, right? The two energies that each of us have, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And when the two intertwine individually, it creates enlightenment, right? Right here in the skull, right? It gives you that Christ consciousness, right? And when the two come together, it's also the representation between the two, right? And the twins, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, or the Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden that we create. And that's what I see in this card. And it's a return to innocence. In our innocent state, we don't have fear. We don't feel separated and disconnected. We're not judging. We're allowing and just accepting and taking the adventure and creating it. And we have this knowing that our imagination creates reality. And it does. So stand at the gate of your mind and only allow in those thoughts that serve you to the end that you desire. I mean, there is no end, right? But you get what I'm saying. I love you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I so thoroughly enjoy doing them for you and really looked forward tomorrow to doing your divine feminine reading. And I'll see you guys then. Mwah!